Welcome back to the Success Code podcast. Today we have a very special guest. It's Eric Kaufman with over 30 years of experience as a doctor, educator, and an innovator. Dr. Eric has found multiple platforms, including Realistically or X, to transform healthcare and make high quality medicine accessible to everyone. Welcome, Dr. Eric. It's an honor to have you here. And to start, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your background.
Sure. Thanks, Julie, for having me on. Yes, I'm Eric Kaufman, and I'm a medical doctor, born and raised in the United States, and trained and practiced in the U.S. And I have a training in ophthalmology, and then internal medicine, and then I was in private practice, and then moved back to the university and I taught and did research and publications. And about 8 years ago, I left and became an entrepreneur, wanting to spread the healthcare access to the broader market. I became personally obsessed with obtaining improved health outcomes and wellness for myself. The current medical model in the US is really a disease based model and requires a diagnosis and then therapeutics aimed at improving disease. What I really wanted, and I think what a lot of people want, is improved health. And the model doesn't work so well for that. It's cumbersome, difficult, expensive. And so we wanted to make things easier for folks. And so I've been on a personal journey, and I'm happy to share that with others.
Well, that's really impressive. And I see that your vision includes not just traditional medicine, but also bringing a lot of innovation with your digital platforms. And tell us more, what inspired you to create these platforms?
Right. It's a great question. I'm 60 now, and when I was a young person, I grew up in the age of the personal computer, and I've always been a bit of a nerd at heart, and so I always loved understanding how computers can be helpful. Um, I really like the idea of databases so that we could have patient information and medical and prescribing information at our fingertips. In my career, this has come to happen, and it's cumbersome and difficult to use in the standard medical industry, but we're able to leverage that kind of technology, much like people use Zoom and meetings like this to connect. We do that with people that are interested in learning more, interested in having a doctor-patient relationship, interested in having it on demand when they're ready, when they're motivated, with technology that's not too difficult, especially since the virus. We've all kind of learned a little bit about how to use our smartphones and connect easily with text messaging and so on. Of course, privacy and all the HIPAA policies these days are pretty easy to follow for just about anyone. And so we respect all that. We follow all those standard policies. And then, of course, we can now access a large distribution network of licensed providers and connect them with technology to patients in given states. We're operating in the US now, where they need licensed providers and they need licensed laboratories for testing and so on. And so it's a great time to be in the healthcare space because we can use the modern technology to reach people where they are. We can make it affordable. We can make it patient-centered about what they want when they're motivated. And and then, of course, we can leverage artificial intelligence for a lot of things, and we can talk about that. Not just for the development of the business and business plans and business models, but also, websites, chat, artificial chat, and so on. And so it's a great time, really, for me because I get to meld my passion for people and knowledge and information and authority with the ability to relate. It's not transactional so much as it is relational what we do, and it's informative and it can be done today. And I just love that.
Oh, amazing. And you have built not just one, but three platforms to support people health and in new and different ways. And could you please explain us more a little bit about each one of them and what are the clients can find in the platform and
Sure.
is the patient experience like?
Sure. Yeah, great question. In 2018, so about 8 years ago now, I was in the state of Oklahoma where I had retired early from the university practice of medicine and teaching. And the medical cannabis law in Oklahoma passed. And people I knew as educators and physicians and other business people, they asked me what I thought of that. And I said, I don't know anything about cannabis as medicine. We weren't taught that. We're not allowed to practice that. We're not educated on it. I just knew that I never saw anybody come into the hospital, the ICU, the emergency room with organ damage or dying from cannabis. And I figured if they want to have medical doctors involved in this system, that sounds good to me. And I needed to learn about it. And so I did what I usually do, which was dig in pretty deep to the available science and literature, try to understand what people are doing. Of course, it had already been developed in the West Coast in California and Washington, Oregon, and then moved into Colorado, and Oklahoma was one of the next states. And so I came to understand that. Then I realized that we could use skills like patient-centered skills. We could use quality and safety standards, standards of practice of medicine, and invite qualified doctors to join us, and then have a place for the patients that need that kind of care to come and know that they can get trusted care, that all their privacy practices, et cetera, would be respected, that we would not be judgmental about their cannabis use. As a matter of fact, we wanted to follow the law so they could have a valid doctor-patient relationship and have doctors to turn to, because many doctors in private practice don't know anything about cannabis, and they don't want to participate for good reason, because they're scientists and they're busy doing what they do. And so it created a niche for us. So we opened Doctors of Cannabis, and that's what we do. We're medical doctors, and we provide access to consultation using, at first, in-office, but now, as particularly since the virus, telemedicine. And now we're nationwide in all the legal states. We have licensed doctors, and we have a SaaS platform that connects those two together so that they can apply for their state license and have a qualified medical doctor in their corner. So that's the first business. Once we realized how that was working, and we understood the SaaS platforms that we needed to do booking and secure messaging and payments, I think I mentioned scheduling, then we were able to expand that to Holistically RX, which basically uses the same technology and the same providers, but now we're able to provide a lot more health services other than cannabis. So that required a new brand called Holistically RX, which I abbreviate HRX, in order to give people access to services, professional services through licensed doctors, licensed pharmacies and pharmacists, so that they can get laboratory testing and medications, and also get recommendations for supplements, vitamins, exercise, diets, etc., so that they can optimize their health. They can recover from chronic conditions that require lifestyle changes and sometimes medications. And so that's how Holistically RX was born. And then moving forward into our future, we realized that it was important to have a medical authority, which I happen to have, and have that lend its credibility to these two businesses, so that Eric Kaufman, MD, can show that we have experience, we have knowledge, we have supervision, we have leadership, mission, vision, and that we know what we're doing. And so that lends authority, so people can learn from Eric Kaufman, MD, but they can also then realize that when content is created or featured on Doc or HRX, that's also being supervised by me and our doctors.
That's really interesting. And of course, that taking on projects this big, like creating platforms for healthcare, I'm sure that comes with a lot of challenge. You got to be smart, creative, and you also needed to take the risk, right? And what's been some of the biggest challenge so far in creating and scaling these platforms?
Yeah, right. That's a great question. So in the beginning, we, in Oklahoma, because the law had just passed for cannabis and medical doctors, we were early, and so we had a lot of business. And one of the problems in the very beginning was being able to scale, but still focus on being awesome, because we really like to have a relationship with our clients and our patients that's relational, and we just want to give them an awesome experience. And so growing too fast and not being able to keep hitting those high quality marks was a risk. So we had to purposefully slow down and not take everybody that we could have taken, so that every person has a great experience. And so that was a balance. And we didn't want to just provide a product or a service. We wanted people to feel comfortable that they were talking to somebody that was non-judgmental, that was authoritative, that respected their goals, and could slow things down in a way to make sure that their goals were met. In the Doctors of Cannabis space, it was pretty easy because we just, particularly in Oklahoma, people came, they said, look, this is what I want to do. I need a doctor to help me. We screen them for safety. We look for risks. We point those out. And generally, if they meet the criteria, we're inclined to want to approve their recommendation. In Holistically RX, it's more expansive because we cover, weight loss. We cover lab testing, we cover longevity therapies, performance enhancement therapies. And so for this, we also have to slow it down. And if people know what product or service that they want, they can order it, and we'll have a doctor and a pharmacist fulfill that order if it's appropriate. But if they want to slow it down and have a free consultation, actually in either platform, they can do that. And they can meet with me or one of my colleagues, and we'll talk to them about what their goals are, and then set up a plan, a treatment plan, maybe just one step at a time for what they'd like to accomplish now. And so I think the hard part is going slow enough so that we don't become transactional. We stay relational, and it's very challenging to do that. We have been self-funded from the beginning. One of the advantages that we had was that in Doc and in this other platform, we're able to keep our expenses fairly low. And so our margins are fairly good, and we can be profitable from the beginning. Within the first 6 months, we were profitable in Doc. That's allowed us to now move into HRX and grow that as well. So we're bootstrapped. We didn't go out and get VC funding or other large funding. We're self-funded, and we have controlled slow growth. It's also allowed us to study our competition and study the people who did various strategies that maybe didn't work so well for them, learn from their mistakes, learn from our mistakes, get various platforms and test them, CRMs, AI, other SaaS platforms, until we got to a stable set of tools that we know work. And now that has all been tested for many years, is working very well, we're ready to start scaling because we've built the back end, we have the people, we have the staff, we have the providers, we have the pharmacies, we have the distribution. And so our next move now is to really start scaling, but again, at a very manageable pace.
I love that. And you just say that for you, the most important was having a relationship with your clients even before you scaling your business. And that's what really makes the difference in, and make you guys standing out in this industry. And in the other hand, tell me something that you have been doing, you or your team, that is really making the difference.
That's making the difference to allow us to be as awesome as we can be. I'll tell you, I learned this from the university. So in the university, when we're teaching, every month we have a new group of students. They can be medical students, nursing students, they can be young doctors, interns, residents. We operate in teams, and we do 360-degree evaluations. So at the end of the rotation, the professor evaluates each participant, student, doctor, etc. But each one of them evaluates the professor and each other. And then it's relatively anonymous, but everybody gets a report, and they can see how they're doing and even compare them to their peers. And so oftentimes when I thought I was really good at a certain topic or style of communication, I got feedback that said, no, there's room for improvement. And I would have never known that unless we did that. So we take this and we apply it to our business. So we ask our staff to evaluate us, evaluate each other, but most importantly, we have our clients provide, we give them all the tools to make public comments about anything. So we are members of the Better Business Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce, and we're lucky to hold A+ ratings with those. But if anybody doesn't like what we're doing, we know that they can broadcast it. We also give them access to our Google Business where they can leave reviews, Trustpilot, TrustMary. We have all of these because we want to hold ourselves for our clients at the as good as possible. And the best way I think to do that is when we fall short, which obviously happens and has happened time and again. We get that feedback right away, and then we reach out. We try to understand what went wrong, and then we use that as an example, if at all possible, to improve our systems. And so the direct feedback has really helped us. It's one of the most awesome things I think about us is that we're easily reachable. Every business has a phone number. It's always answered by a person. If the person isn't available, a message will be returned right away. And we give everybody the tools to review us.
Amazing, amazing. This really makes the difference, this relationship. And let's talk about the future. You say that the first goal was creating the relationship with your clients so that you can build the trust. And now you guys are ready to scale. So tell me more, what are your goals for the next year?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's taken a long time to get here, to keep testing and reiterating, losing tools that we don't need, consolidating tools, building the scalability for everything, right? And so let's just talk about some of that. So from a marketing perspective, what we really like to do is organic marketing. So we want to show up in the search results, okay? And so that requires having fresh content, refresh content, social media channels, and of course, trust and reviews. And so we're going to amplify all of that. Okay, so one of the things that we're starting is to be a lot more available for podcasts like this one so that our message can get out in front of people who want to learn more, either from business operations or from patient services or family members that have this concern, maybe they're a care provider for someone else. So get our message out. So we want to publish content on YouTube. We want to put it on audio podcasts. We have these channels. We just plan on distributing them. And ultimately, we'll start doing our own when we have an audience that's large enough and it makes sense for us to start having guests. We'd like to do that too. So organic growth is really the fundamental. When it comes to paid advertising, we really haven't done any, and I don't know that we will, although it might make sense for Holistically RX. It doesn't. We're not actually directly as our business entities. We're not the medical providers. We have relationships with trusted medical providers who are independent practitioners. So that makes it easier for us to do marketing. But of course, we do get sometimes protected health information. We have to be proper custodians. We have the proper business agreements for HIPAA compliance and so on. So we do handle some patient data and, of course, treat that in the proper legal channels. So we can do paid in Holistically RX and even EKMD. We're partnering with other people in the healthcare space. So, for example, we have a supplement distributor that we can pick and choose the supplement categories that we like, and we test them ourselves on ourselves. We take them. We're real people too. We know that we need vitamin D and magnesium and some of these supplements for optimal health. So we're working on curating some lists where people can go to our website and then get referred on to the supplements where they can order them direct, and we'll offer them discounts. These are affiliate partnerships. So we're going to expand services that way. Same thing in the cannabis space. We are affiliated with some nurses that provide patient education, even education for healthcare providers. They have courses and certifications. And so we have affiliate relationships where learners can go and learn more from the experts about cannabis and get personalized consults. The same thing, also, those nurses have a hemp-based CBD product that can be shipped and sold. So we have affiliate partnerships with them. So we try to have multiple sources of revenue, but as a trusted source, knowing that when we recommend something, we do it for good reason because we've been careful in studying and using it ourselves. And have seen the benefits, we see the value. And so we like to recommend additional services. So that's another revenue opportunity.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as a business owner and entrepreneur, we are always looking at ways to stay ahead and improve our service, reach the right people and really makes the difference. And AI has become a big part of that. So I would like to know your perspective and how you see AI impacting your industry and a platform like yours. And if there is any AI technology you want to implement or you want to explore.
Mhm. Yeah, it's fantastic. So the best example that I can give is in DOC, which is again Doctors of Cannabis or docsofcannabis.com. That's the website, and we have it's unique because every state in the U.S. and there's 35 states now roughly that have medical license programs. Every state implements their program according to their state laws. So the conditions they qualify, what the process for obtaining a license is, how long the license is good for, what the fees are, et cetera, et cetera. So we actually have a web page for every single state because the answer to a person in a given state is it depends on your state law. And so we have links out to the state laws and so on. So our chatbot knows our entire website. And not only that, but we've built knowledge bases and FAQs and so on. So our AI actually knows all of our content. And then for people who call in, our phone calls are recorded. And that's for quality and safety. And then all those calls are also known by our AI. So it can answer questions currently in the chat mode very authentically. So if someone asks, how much does it cost to get a renewal license in Oklahoma? Well, that question will be very specifically answered. It'll say, the state cost is this, there's discounts if you're on Social Security or Medicare, the physician fee is this, et cetera, et cetera. So the AI chatbot knows basically everything that we know and is able to relate to people and solve their questions and problems very nicely. Now, the next step is to have our phones, because a lot of people like to actually just pick up the phone and call somebody, and I don't blame them. I like it too. But if we can't get to the phone, instead of leaving a message or being on hold, you could chat with an AI phone support, which again will know everything that we know and have been able to publish in blog posts, web pages, knowledge base, FAQs, etc., and provide that kind of support over the telephone. So that's the next step for us. And then, of course, we're just going to repeat that same process in Holistically RX and Eric Kaufman, MD.
Amazing. I love that. So many ideas. And thank you so much for sharing your goals, your vision with us. And as we close, for someone who wants to know more about you and about Realistically RX and your platforms, what is the best way to connect?
Sure. So, first of all, I have a LinkedIn profile, and you can search for Eric Kaufman, MD. And then also you can go to my website at erickaufmanmd.com. And then that has access to the other sales channels and also social channels. So that's probably the best way or easiest way to find me. And I'll make sure that you have my personal email and contact phone number. So in the comments, if people want to contact me just directly, I'd be happy to talk to them.
Thank you so much. Dr. Eric, I just want to say thank you for being our guest and sharing your expertise and your vision with us. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. And to our audience, thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.